Oh my lordy. This race was something. This race had drama. This race had everything. And this race also showed why the next gen car is absolutely perfect on the mountain house with the crazy restarts, the great racing, a little bit of drama here and there as well that we'll get into later. But we have a lot, and I mean a lot, to unpack after Vegas. Hey guys, NASCAR Mobile 48 back again, back to another episode of NRR. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the 2022 South Point 400 from the famed Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Sin City, Viva Las Vegas, Nellis back straightaway. I don't know why I included that, but anyway, we have a lot to talk about. Man, this race had a lot. Joey Logano, first playoff driver to advance into the championship four with his 5th appearance now. We had a whole lot of action with drivers who could have made it, like a Chastain. Kyle Busch with a lot of issues, somehow gets a top 5. And then Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Blaney and Byron had their issues. Bell had his issues. We have a lot to address. So let's go ahead and start off looking at our top 10 finishers. Then we're going to rate the race. Then we'll look at our biggest story of the race, followed by looking at our drivers of the day, and ending off looking at the playoff standings coming out of Vegas and going into the second race of the round of 8 at Homestead next Sunday. Finishing first was Joey Logano. What a race it was for Logano, getting the win here today from Las Vegas. He'll advance to the championship four for his 5th championship four appearance. So really good for Joey Logano. 30th career win, 3rd of the season, and his 3rd win at Las Vegas. Congrats to him and number 22 team. Really, Team Penske was the dominant team all day. I mean, early from the get-go, Logano was already on the move, was making moves here and there, was trying to catch Bubba Wallace for that stage 1 win until a caution came out when Kyle Busch spun off the turn 4. Then later in the race, I believe after Yaley had his tire go down, Logano went down into the pits and he lost spots on pit road, so I kind of thought that was his day over until we had some more cautions come his way, able to cycle back to the front, and he was able to get by Briscoe on one of the restarts and was hunting down Chastain, got by Chastain, cleared him coming to 2 laps to go, and was able to get the win here today. So congrats to Joey Logano and the number 22 team getting the win here today. And really, Logano has been a threat on some of these mile-and-a-half racetracks. I mean, just at Texas a couple weeks ago, he finished 2nd to Tyler Reddick. So watch out for him at Homestead, probably trying to get some momentum into Phoenix. But now they're the first team that can finally prep their Phoenix car for the championship, and Logano's won a Phoenix before, so watch out. But a really good day for Joey Logano and the number 22 team. Finishing runner-up was Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain getting now his 4th top 10 finish in the last 6 races. So he's been on a little bit of a roll himself, but just was not enough to get the win. A bit of a heartbreaker indeed in the last 5 laps. But him and Daniel Suarez were really starting to click right after stage 1. At the beginning of stage 2, they were both running 1-2 at one point, and Chastain was leading most of the laps in the 2nd stage, and he was out in front, was able to hold a pretty solid lead, was not able to win stage 2. Ryan Blaney took the lead away from him around that time, but Chastain was still out in front. He was my pick to win and stuff. And after Bilicki had his tire go down, Chastain was able to get by Justin Haley and Chase Briscoe for the race lead. Then Logano got by him. It was Chastain versus Logano. Chastain was throwing some mean blocks at Logano, trying to hold on for the win because Logano had the better car, but was not enough. Logano was able to get the win. Does suck for Ross Chastain, but he's still currently 2nd in the playoff standings, I believe, by 19 points above the cut line. So nothing to worry about for Ross Chastain. We'll see how he'll do at Homestead, because Chastain's definitely, in my opinion, out of the 8 championship hunting drivers, that he could actually run the top line pretty good at Homestead. But gotta think, you got Tyler Reddick in that race, so you gotta beat him too. But a nice solid finish for Chastain and the 1 team. Finishing in 3rd was Kyle Busch. No one, and absolutely no one, has had the worst luck other than this man. But somehow, someway, he was able to get to get a top 5 finish. Back-to-back 3rd place finishes for Kyle Busch and the 18 team, which is really good. Day didn't really start off that hot, as at the end of stage 1, Kyle Busch spun off at turn 4 and kind of backed it to the wall a little bit. He had a tire going down, and then later throughout the race and stuff, he had some issues, kind of had a run-in with Chase Briscoe, kind of using him up down the back stretch, and he wasn't happy about that. Same thing with Ryan Blaney down the front stretch, and those two have had their history before. Kyle Busch was not happy about that, so just getting used up by some of these playoff drivers, definitely not making Kyle Busch the happiest. And then after Blaney got into the wall, after Blaney had his caution, Kyle Busch was leaving pit road. He had smoke from the car, from his tire, and then the tire came off down the backstretch, and then of course there's going to be suspensions to be in place. So bye bye Ben Bayshore. So really, yeah, so it's going to be the last 3 races. Kyle Busch, this was his last race with this crew chief Ben Bayshore, and fans were cheering in Vegas, even though that's his home track. Love him, hate him, that's just how it is in Kyle Busch fantasy world. But what a heartbreaker for Kyle Busch right there. And he actually looked like he had a strong car, because he definitely had the race-winning car at Vegas earlier this year, but this time he still had a fast car. But just heartbreaking right there, having those issues going out. 4 big issues for Kyle Busch, and somehow, someway was able to still get a top 3 finish. So nice comeback for the 18 team, but will be without his regular crew chief Ben Bayshore for the rest of the season. We'll have an interim crew chief for the last 3 races of the 2022 season, and for JGR. Finishing 4th was Chase Briscoe. Gotta give it up to Chase Briscoe. 4 straight top 10 finishes for this number 14 team. They are definitely on a roll. And it didn't look like this day was going to end up really good for them, because at the beginning they were like 26 a lap down after the first stage. Luckily they were able to get back on the lead lap, had some things cycle through, and were able to be up there in the top 5 late in this race. He was running up there with Justin Haley, but then kind of got past with some other cars like Chastain and Logano, but still was able to hang on for a nice soft 4th place finish. So credit to Chase Briscoe and his team getting a nice soft finish here today. I'm pretty sure they're still a little bit below the cut line, but not so much, so we have to watch out for Chase Briscoe. And besides, we're headed off to Homestead next week, and Briscoe's won there before in the Xfinity Series, so watch out for him and the number 14 team. And rounding out the top 5 and 5th was Denny Hamlin. Really good finish for Denny Hamlin and the number 11 team, especially when they were the furthest starting playoff driver, starting in 31st today, and was able to make up a lot of spots pretty quickly. So Hamlin does still have the experience here at this racetrack. And also, this is also another top 10 for Denny Hamlin in the playoffs. He has finished in the top 10 in every single playoff race except for last week at the Roval, where he finished 13th. So a nice solid finish for Hamlin, the 11. Nothing really to say about him. He was definitely moving up the marks late in this race, a hard charger late in this race, and was able to get a nice solid top 5 finish. So really good for Denny Hamlin, the 11. We'll see how he'll do at Homestead next week. He won there a couple years ago, so hopefully he can get the win there and advance to another straight championship 4 appearance, which would be from 2019 to now, which is pretty good. Finishing in 6th was Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick also had a really good race. He started on pole early in this race and was having a really good battle with Austin Cindric to start out. And then once we had that pit cycle a little bit halfway through the first stage, Reddick was kind of a no-show. I'm not sure where he was. He was kind of showing up a little bit here and there, but he was not as competitive as he was in the beginning. But he did show up a little bit late in this race, was looking to make a hard charge towards the front of the pack, but just could not catch guys like Chastain. Logano just was not that good, but still had a nice solid top 5, top 10 car, able to get a 6th place finish. So really good for Tyler Reddick in the 8 team. That's now, I believe, 3 top 10 finishes in the last 4 races for them. Finishing 7th was Mark Truex Jr. Nothing really to say off the 19 car. They started 27th. This was actually Truex's first top 10 since being at Las Vegas's sister track, Kansas, earlier in the playoffs. But nice solid finish for Truex. Definitely wasn't one of the best cars throughout the field, but kind of made gains and progression throughout the rest of the race and was able to get a nice solid top 10, which was good. Had a little bit of a run-in with Justin Haley at one point off turn 4. Truex kind of got into the side of Justin Haley, and then I heard a radio over the race saying like, what an idiot. So I don't know whose radio that was. It could have been Haley's, it could have been Truex's, I'm not sure. But those two had a little bit of a confrontation. Probably something mild. I don't think they're going to have a little bit of a run-in the future. But nice solid top 10 finish for Truex and the 19 team. Finishing in 8th was Eric Jones. Eric Jones was definitely one of the best looking non-playoff drivers all day. Heck, we had a lot of good non-running playoff drivers. I mean, we had Bubba Wallace at first, and we also had Tyler Reddick, and you also had good old Eric Jones. Eric Jones with another strong finish here today. That's 3 top 10s the last 4 races, so good finish for them. Was able to just get a nice solid 8th place finish. Nothing really to say. They could have gotten another solid top 5, but they were kind of being outrun by some other drivers late in this race, so it's okay. Decent finish for the 43 team. Finishing in 9th was AJ Allmendinger. Actually surprised to see Allmendinger finish in the top 10, meaning he does have skill in Las Vegas. I mean, it does suck that he wasn't able to get the finish he deserved in yesterday's Xfinity race, but a nice solid top 10 here. And it's also pretty weird. Last 5 races now for AJ Allmendinger have all been top 10s. 7th at the Brickyard, 2nd at the Glen, 7th at Bristol Night, 4th at the Roval last week, and 9th here today. Really good finishes in the past few races for AJ Allmendinger. Hopefully they can end off the season strong in the number 16 car. finishing in 10th and starting in 10th was Austin Dillon. Kind of weird. Austin Dillon finished 10th in the last 2 races, if you think about it. 10th at the Roval and 10th here today. But nothing really to say off of Austin Dillon. Had a little bit of a run-in with Ty Gibbs earlier at one point. I'm not sure what that was all about. Probably just using each other up. But that was the only thing to talk about Austin Dillon. Gets a nice solid top 10. Good for him. A nice pat on the back for Dillon. And now let's rate this race. This race has just been crazy. Not just this race, but this weekend overall has been insane. I just moved the camera. But yeah, this weekend overall has just been crazy. I mean, from like Hailie Deegan making her first start, Gregson having a good run, Barry moving on to the championship 4, Kurt Busch announcing his retirement. Just also want to say, really sad here about that for Kurt Busch retiring from full-time. Well, he hasn't said retire, but not doing full-time in 2023. Hopefully we can see him make another start in 2024, maybe part-time, or make just one last race, one last hoorah before he goes, maybe the 2024 Daytona 500. We'll see, but it does suck to hear about that. But Tyler Reddick over here will be making his first start for Toyota next season for 2023, so he'll be moved up a year early from his original schedule in 2024. And yeah, that was it. And then we've had this race with old Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson incident with the issues some of the playoff drivers were involved in. Kyle Busch having a crazy day as usual, and Joey Logano and Chastain going at it, and Logano ended up getting the win. This race has just been really good. Just the restarts have been phenomenal. The racing has been pretty good. Just shows next gen car, you do not have to fix anything with the next gen at the mile and a half. Just got to fix it at a couple of the road courses and just all the short tracks. But what a race it was. And I'm glad it wasn't as chaotic as the last mile and a half of Texas. Okay, at least this was a nice simple put mile and a half race. So if I had to rate this one, I'm gonna give it a solid 9.5 out of 10. It was really good. I really enjoyed this race. Just the battles that we've had all day, it was really phenomenal. And actually, I'm going to say 9.5. I'll say 9.3. 9.3 out of 10. Really solid race. I did enjoy it. I would definitely want to watch this race again. And it's just so weird. Every single time NASCAR live streams a driver's in-car camera on YouTube, that driver goes on to win. They did it with Austin Dillon at what's it called? At Daytona, and they did it with Kevin Harvick in Michigan, and I don't freaking get it. How do they keep predicting this? It's so weird. So literally, next time you see a NASCAR driver have their in-car camera live through a NASCAR race on YouTube, that driver's going to win the race. I'm telling you, that's going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to rate this a 9.3 out of 10. Let me know what you guys would give it in the comment section below. So now let's talk about the biggest story of the race. We've also had some playoff drivers with their issues, but we'll get into that once we take a look at the playoff standings after this race. But anyway, what happened here was a Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson incident. Basically, Larson got into Bubba Wallace, kind of ran him up the track, ran him tight. Wallace hit the wall pretty hard. I'm not sure if it would have bent the tolling, maybe did some damage, but it wouldn't have ended Bubba Wallace's race, but probably take him out of contention for the win, possibly. And then Wallace was not happy, retaliated on Kyle Larson, and right hooked him into the wall, and Bubba Wallace also wrecked himself and also collected innocent driver Christopher Bell, and that ended Christopher Bell's day because of the DVB clock. So I don't know if Toyota's going to be happy about Bubba Wallace for taking out a Toyota teammate right there. But anyway, that all happened. My basic reaction to that is that I know you're in the heat of the moment, but you do not do that, okay? We've talked about this many times before in NASCAR history. You do not right hook someone into the wall. I mean, literally, we've seen that with like Carson Hocevar, what he did to Colby Howard. I know it was at like a short track, but you still do not right hook someone into the wall. But basically, look, I'm a Bubba fan, but just right hooking someone at a mile and a half track is just unacceptable. So there definitely needs to be some sort of suspension for a race, maybe 1 or 2 races, something like kind of Matt Kenseth level. And by the way, what I say, was this worse than Matt Kenseth's level? I'm not sure, because like Kenseth and Logano have repeated things. This was just a one-time thing. And besides, Kenseth's wreck at Logano was at a short track. This was at a faster track. So I would say it's just as dangerous as Matt Kenseth's, but I would not say this or Matt Kenseth's incident was as worse as Kyle Busch's Truck Series incident at Texas in 2011 or 2010. Okay, nothing can beat that, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think this one beats that. But anyway, talking about that and stuff, there's just no need for that, especially with the next gen safety issues. And luckily, Larson was okay. But I was really surprised to see Bubba Wallace really punching, or not really punching, but shoving Kyle Larson. He was not happy. That was the most upset I've seen Bubba Wallace ever. And actually, to be honest, this is the first time I've seen anyone go back at Kyle Larson. Whenever Kyle Larson has either wrecked someone or made someone mad, no one's went up to Kyle Larson and like started throwing haymakers or something. This is the first time we've seen someone put their hands on Kyle Larson. But anyway, but to be fair, it would be weird for NASCAR to penalize Bubba, but not. Yeah, it would be weird for them to penalize Bubba, but not penalize, like I said, Carson Hocevar for right hooking Colby Howard at IRP. But I know it's a short track, but like I said, there's still no need for that, and it makes it look worse for Bubba since that's because of his retaliation that his Toyota teammate, like I already said, Christopher Bell, was an innocent bystander. And for those who look, and I just want to go ahead and put out, let's not make this like the Lewis Hamilton Max Verstappen 2021 British Grand Prix incident. Let's not make racist comments on Bubba and say stuff because he's black. Just don't. Okay, there's no need for that. Bubba literally did something other drivers have done in this sport's history, and they never got racial backlash. So just don't say anything racial about Bubba Wallace. Don't say like, oh, he doesn't deserve to be in the sport. Okay, just calm down on that. We don't have to be over excessive and stuff, but there still needs to be some sort of penalty for Bubba Wallace. Some we're saying he needs to be suspended for the rest of the season. I could possibly see that, but I would probably say like 2 races, because I feel like this was kind of somewhat at the level at Matt Kenseth. I don't know, because Matt Kenseth was planning that. I'm not really sure, and that Bubba Wallace just did that out of frustration. Now this is really comparable to the Noah Gragson Road America incident where he just turned Sage Karam into the rest of the field. And now I know it wasn't as fast, but still, you collected a whole lot of other cars. So it's going to be weird. Look, we've had this incident with the appeals panel and just NASCAR's penalty system. Like, William Barnes' penalty got overturned. That shouldn't have happened right there and stuff. But we'll see what happens. But if Bubba Wallace gets suspended for a race or 2, I will not be surprised. For the rest of the year, for the rest of the season, even though we have 3 races left, I would not probably do that and stuff, because it's not like Bubba Wallace has done this before. If Bubba Wallace has done this before, like right hooking someone, then yeah, suspended for the year. But this is the first time Bubba Wallace has done this, okay? I know it's unacceptable, there's no excuse for it, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to defend Bubba, but I know he's in the heat of the moment and he's really upset, but you just don't right hook someone, especially at a mile and a half racetrack. So that's my take on the whole Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson incident. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Also, just wanted to point out Bubba Wallace's comments on his interview. Man, that was not looking really well as either. He was saying like fishing and stuff. Like, oh my god, oh man, that was not also a good look. I mean, at least you kind of learned, because like you heard from William Barnes' incident at Texas, he literally clearly admitted to like hitting Denny Hamlin under yellow and stuff. So that's probably why NASCAR really hit him with the fine, because like he blatantly admitted to like doing that. Bubba was trying to avoid the question about NBC. He tried to avoid it, but NASCAR is still going to review that incident. They did not send Bubba Wallace to the hauler, so we'll await further penalties or suspension, something like that, probably tomorrow or Tuesday. We'll have to wait and see, but I feel like there definitely has to be some sort of penalty, fine, suspension, something like that from NASCAR to Bubba Wallace, because if Bubba isn't suspended, I would actually be kind of disappointed in NASCAR, because with their penalties and system, we've already talked about this, but that's all I wanted to talk about for Bubba Wallace. And damn, 23-11, this is not their week. Bubba Wallace incident, then Kurt Busch retires, and then Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, they are not going to be happy about this one. Now for our drivers of the day. Unlucky driver of the day, gotta go to Christopher Bell. Just nothing he could do. Literally, the best Toyota, in my opinion, all season long. Definitely the championship contender right here. Is now dead last in the playoffs because of his teammate Bubba Wallace. And just nothing he could do. Just kind of got taken out. And even said in his interview, just kind of got taken out by Bubba's retaliation. So I don't know if Christopher Bell's happy with Bubba Wallace. I mean, these two literally switched pit crews midway through the season and stuff. So oh man, this just sucks for Christopher Bell. Hopefully he can have a good race at Homestead. He's pretty good there. Martinsville, I'm not really 100% confident, because it's a short track. I don't know how Bell is at Martinsville. Doesn't have a really history there, but oh man, that sucks. Now for underdog driver of the day, gotta give it to the man himself, Chase Briscoe. Definitely the biggest underdog of today. Was 26, a lap down after the first stage, and he made a really great performance and was able to run up inside the top 5 with some of the other playoff contenders. Definitely was probably the weakest link coming into the round of 8, but he showed off a really strong performance. He's not above the cut line, but he's a little bit below it to where he can actually make some noise, make something happen. And he's going to Homestead next week, where he's won there before in the Xfinity Series, so watch out for Chase Briscoe. And then the comeback driver of the day has to be Kyle Busch. 4 issues today. I'm pretty sure Kyle Busch was comeback driver of the day in the Las Vegas race earlier this season, but Kyle Busch probably has been the comeback driver of the year, who's made so many significant most comebacks throughout the rest of the season, or throughout this entire season, because literally, like I said earlier, he spun out, made a bit of contact into the wall at the end of stage 1, was kind of being roughened up by Chase Briscoe earlier, and also by Ryan Blaney a bit earlier. Well, kind of comment on Ryan Blaney, he blew a tire and wrecked his car later in the race, and then also, like I said, tire goes off down the backstretch. Ben Bayshore is out for the rest of the season. Kyle Busch will no longer be seeing him anymore, and there's probably gonna be some more suspensions, more fines, all that stuff, and he somehow, some way finishes 3rd. Oh, what a race for KFB. Just a Kyle Busch 2022 season. That's how it is. And then overall driver of the day, it was hard to say, but I'm going to give it to Chastain, because Logano was definitely one of the best drivers all day long, but he did not lead as many laps as Ross Chastain. And Chastain and Logano, neither of them won a stage, but still, Chastain definitely looked like he was one of the best cars all day, because he was really close to winning at Las Vegas earlier this season, finished like in the top 5, top 10 earlier this season, and gets 2nd place here today. Definitely one of the best cars. I thought he was going to get the win, just was not enough. So we'll see how he'll do at Homestead next week. If they bring the same exact car, I feel like he could have a good day, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But a good finish overall for the number 1 team. And now it is time to look at the playoff standings coming out of Vegas and going into the 2nd race at Homestead. First off, we have Joey Logano with the win, locked into the Championship 4. 5th time he'll be in the Championship 4. Then we have Ross Chastain plus 18, Elliott plus 17, and Denny Hamlin plus 6 above the cut line. Right below the cut line, we have Byron minus 6, Briscoe minus 9, Blaney minus 11, and then Christopher Bell minus 23. I know 23 is a lot, but I still say he could possibly point his way in. He would just have to have a really solid finish next week, and then also the week after that. If he just, I don't know, we'll see. If let's say if Christopher Bell's like minus 23 or 20 or more points after Homestead, then yeah, he's definitely in a must-win situation. But I will not count him out yet, so we'll just have to wait and see. Let's calm ourselves. Let's not piss right now for some of you Toyota Christopher Bell fans. It ain't over till they say it's over. It's not over till the fat lady sings. I don't know who in the hell came up with that reference or slogan or whatever the hell you call it. I do not get it. But anyway, that's it for the playoff standings right there. And we also talked about some drivers having their issues. Byron nearly wrecked Ryan Blaney earlier at one point and stuff, so that was kind of catastrophic. Briscoe had a good finish. Blaney had a tire go down and went into the wall, the outside wall and the inside wall, and ended up with a not so good finish. Christopher Bell, like I said, got caught up with his own teammates' mess. Chase Elliott was probably the least talked about playoff driver all day. Didn't really have a notable finish. Hamlin finished top 10, Chastain finished top 10, and same thing with Logano, got the win. So that's all I have to say about the playoff drivers. We'll see how we do at Homestead. Have not raced there in over a year. Cannot wait to go back to the best mile and a half racetrack of NASCAR right now. But we'll see, because the next gen car could change that. We'll see how the next gen car will perform there, because Kansas and Las Vegas have been really good races, so hopefully Homestead's a good one too. But that's going to do it for today. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to check out my gaming channel, NASCAR Gaming 48, link will be down in the description below. Instagram, also link in the description below. Subscribe to the channel. We're at 225 subs. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. 75 away from the big 300, so let's keep up the numbers. But I do really appreciate you guys who do tune into the videos and like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that. Do really appreciate it. But that's gonna do it for today. See you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. This is NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out.